Well, in 6 days, the 6 days in the home is going to be going on. It's on December 28th. Since across the years isn't being held this year. My friend Scott Burton up in Canada, the Great White North, who've done a number of 6 days with, he wanted to do a 6-day challenge on his own. He's also doing a 48-hour treadmill. And so we got to talking, and I thought, hey, well, okay, well, why don't we just do it traditional across the year's time, December 28th to January 3rd. And at first we were just going to kind of do it informal, and we're still doing it informal. It's free, but if you go on Run Sign Up, you can join us. We have over 20 plus people doing it, and Run Sign Up has a feature that hopefully you can log your miles. Well, I know you can. So that's the idea. The idea came about back in 2013. I'd been reading about 6 days since I started running in the late 70s, and I always wanted to do one. Never saw one on the schedule. I mean, yeah, there was the one in New York, but at the time, thinking of actually going to New York to do a race just didn't seem possible. And so in 2013, I've been putting on a race in Bakersfield called the Killahilla Classic. And the reason I started doing that was, you know, the swimmers have their polar bear plunge, and cyclists have a New Year's Day ride. And so I wanted to have something for walkers and runners to do. And so I have this really difficult 5-mile loop at the Bluffs, hence the name Killahilla. And I thought, well, how far can we go in 8 hours? And so back in 2013, we've been doing it for a few years. In 2013, good friend Courtney Clerico and I managed to finally do 6 laps on the course. And, you know, only complete laps count. So for a couple years, I was doing 5, which ended up being almost a marathon because it's like 5.2-mile loop. It's almost a perfect loop. And so we did 6, which was a 50K. But I'd already decided I was going to do my own solo 6-day because I didn't know if I'd ever see. Sorry there. I want to take these gloves off. And so I wanted to put on my own 6-day race. I mean, do my own solo ones because I didn't know if I'd ever get to do one. So, and I'd been in pretty good race shape from the year before. So I started off with that 50K. Not the best way to start a 6-day off because it's dang really hilly, very challenging. And then on my own, I basically did miles all day. Didn't really walk at night. Usually by 6 or 7 o'clock at night, I didn't walk. I didn't have a treadmill back then. I know Scott's gonna do his on the treadmill. Of course he has to because he's in the Great White North where there isn't, it's like snow and it's pretty frozen tundra up there. So I did it back then, and then of course, miraculously, and if you've been watching my YouTube or my podcast, you would have seen I've been doing the 6 days with Giannis Kouros. I did my first official one a year later, but when I was doing my solo, I really had no idea that there would be a race near me to do. So that year, my goal was John Muir Trail from Yosemite to Whitney. It's 211 miles. So my goal was 211 miles, and that's what I got in 6 days. Mainly doing about, kind of like they do at the Search Chamois 3100. They take off from midnight to 6. I basically was taking off probably 8 to 6. So 10 hours, doing 14-hour days. So long story is, we're doing it again this year. I have no idea. Physically, I know I could do 200 plus. Mentally, might not even get 100. I'm not really sure where I'm at. Like I was saying before in yesterday's vlog, terrible at time trials, solo time trials. I need competition. You know, I'm playing a video game, that race car video game, Formula One. And when I have to do a qualifying run, I'm pretty terrible. I almost never win. But when I do the races with actual racers in it, I do well. And that kind of translates. That's how I was in high school. Cross country, I ran well. Track, where a lot of times it was all about pacing and times, not so good. So that's what I'm doing starting next week. We have had almost no rain in California, and especially Bakersfield, for months and months and months. And this thing's going to start on the 28th, Monday. It's supposed to be 90% chance of rain. So I may be doing some of my miles on my treadmill via Swift. I don't know, hopefully, like today, I have this nice little 2.5 mile loop. It'd be nice to be able to basically go out and do 10 miles every 4 hours and see how I can do with that, and then take the nights off, of course, because I don't want to get too crazy. God, there's water in this dang gutter every single day, year round. And it doesn't rain in Bakersfield there. You can see that damn water every day. And it's just wide enough that you can barely step over it. And since, you know, I nearby had that damn grease fall at John's Burger, I'm always leery of falling again. Well, we always should be. So I will put in the show notes 6 days in the Dome. Not 6 days in the Dome. It's a pun on 6 days in the Dome, which I did the 2014 one in Alaska, and then last year went to Wisconsin and bailed on it pretty early. So we decided to call this 6 days in the home, because Scott literally will be doing it in the home, and I will be doing it here and today is old school Bakersfield. We used to be foggy like this all the time, like months, where we'd go to LA to see the sun. And this is back in the fall, you know, the smog days. So in fact, you can see I'm wearing my Celtic Classic hat. Unfortunately, we're not doing that race this year, and that's always in January. And usually have pretty nice, good weather. And if you've been following this vlog or my YouTube, you've seen that it's pretty much been nice and sunny most mornings. But this is old school, so I'm glad I got up. I'm glad I went out last night and saw the Christmas star, Jupiter and Saturn aligning. It's pretty cool. And I'll talk to you guys later. 6 days in the home is a virtual race, meaning we're not going to get together, obviously. Would love to, but it's just not going to happen this year with COVID and whatnot. So what you do is it's going to start at 6 a.m. Pacific Coast time. I want to kind of start all at the same time. 6 a.m. is going to be, I think, 8 or 9 o'clock for Scott, who's up there in Canada. And you can basically do your miles wherever, kind of honor system. He is going to be doing them on the treadmill. I'll probably be doing a combination of the streets of Bakersfield, where you see me often walking around. And I will probably get on the treadmill from time to time too, especially at night. No sense walking around in the dark, freezing cold. I myself don't really know how many miles I'm going to do. I did just today sign up for the Snowdrop Virtual 55-hour race. It's a race I went to last year. Got sick first day or so of it, so I only did about 75 miles before I called it a day. Plus, once I got home, I was sick for a couple more weeks. I often think I had some sort of upper respiratory infection, cold. I almost think it was COVID type of thing. So it should be interesting to see how it goes. I'm not sure. I think my goal was 100 miles and maybe get to 200. But my PR for a solo 6 day is 2:11. Which I did when I did my very first solo 6 day way back in 2013. 2:11 is the distance John Muir Trail is. 100 miles would be great. So we shall see. I've been having real difficulty trying to do any kind of these events this year when it comes to virtual. The only virtual one that I did half decent on was I did do the across Tennessee, and then back across Tennessee, the Rat and the Bat. But there it was just 10 miles a day, which wasn't too much difficulty in doing. But then I've signed up for some of these more difficult challenges where you got to be out there putting in 16-hour days, and just haven't been in the mood to do it. So my really last long workout event was the Winter Celtic Classic here in Bakersfield way back in January, where I walked 73 miles in 24, and I did at least 1 mile, 1 lap each hour of that entire race. I never did really take a break. So should be interesting to see how it is. I'll put in the show notes where you can sign up for 6 days in the home. You can put your results up on that website. I'll be figuring that out in the next day or two. We may have like some kind of Zoom so we can get in touch with each other and support each other. I know I'll be reaching out to Scott and trying to keep him going. And so hopefully you will join us. And as always, stay healthy, be boring, not epic.